Hey guys, Wheezy here, back with another review. Today we're going to be looking at the Darmoshark M34K edition. We're going to be getting into the good, the bad, how it feels, how does it perform, and how does it underperform, and also with some small comparisons to other mouses. So let's get into it. To the actual review, let's do like a quick unboxing and looking at the packaging. The packaging is really cool. It has like this sick LSD type artwork in it, which is really cool. Like other companies don't really put artwork on their boxes like this. It's really nice in my opinion. Here's the back of it. Also like some other colorways back there too, which is really cool. It's really nice. Here's the side of the box where it has all like the specs and everything. It has a 3-mode connection switch, 65 grams, 800 milliamp battery, a 3395, 60 million clicks, and a custom macro programming. Come on, let's be honest. Who uses macros? So this is what it looks like based in the box. Please ignore the grips. I did add those on. I have been using this mouse for about a week now, so just again, please ignore the grips. So this is what it looks like. Here's a side profile. Here's the other side. Here's the back of the mouse. I did change the default skates out to PTFE dot skates. I will say the default skates are really bad. I did try to give them a try for like a good 2 hours, and I will not sweat this enough. They have probably been the worst default skates I have ever tried. They are really bad. So if you do plan to pick this mouse up, please change the skates out immediately. You will be griefing yourself by using their default skates. So yeah, this is what the mouse looks like. This is the cable. It's a braided USB Type-C cable. It's really nice. It's really cool. It does have a cable management thing. Here's the 4K dongle. Here's the front. Here's the back. There's the bottom. And inside does come with the instructions and an extra pair of skates. I will say again, do not use these skates. They are really bad. Change the skates out to something completely different. These skates are horrible. So that is everything that comes with the box. But I have seen like other reviewers and other people get grips with their mouse. I didn't get any grips, so it's not really a big deal. I didn't get my grips. I'm not going to sweat it. But who knows? I might have just got scammed by Amazon. It's Amazon. This is everything that comes in the box. So let's get into the rest of the review. So let's get into the switches and the scroll wheel of this. I don't know what specific switches are in here, but all I can say is for the price of this mouse, a $40 mouse, sometimes $50, this is probably like one of the best switches I've used for a budget mouse. So like, as you guys can tell, there's hardly any pre-travel or post-travel on there. I don't know if you guys can really see that. There's hardly any, which is really good, and they're super spammy. They're very lightweight to push down. There's not like any like wobble on it either, as you guys can tell. There's no wobble. There's no wobble on the switches at all. So that's one really good thing. The scroll wheel. Wow. That's one thing about this mouse that actually kind of like blew me away. This scroll wheel feels really good. Like it's super nice. Like I don't know what kind of band they use on this for the scroll wheel, but this scroll wheel feels really good. Like this is one of the best scroll wheels I've probably used in a really long time. So that is one good thing with this. So props to them for getting good switches and a really nice scroll wheel for a budget mouse. So props to them for that. So now let's get into the build quality of this mouse. The build quality on this mouse for a budget mouse is really good. There is no rattle. There is no bend on this mouse. Especially, like, if you guys can see me, there is no bend at all. There is no bend. The only time there's bend on this, or, like, a creaking noise, is if I'm, like, death gripping this mouse. Like, if I want to break this mouse by squeezing the hell out of it with all my force and all my pressure, then yeah, there's going to be some creaking. But if I'm, like, in a high tense situation in a game, and I need to grip my mouse a little harder than usual, yeah, it's fine. There's not going to be a creaking. It's not going to feel like you're about to break the mouse if you're in a high tense situation. So for a $40 to $50 mouse, this has a really good build quality. So I do give them props on this as well. So now let's get into the performance and the issue that I had with this mouse. So the one issue that I did have with this mouse, the only issue that I had, was my mouse would randomly disconnect, and there would be like no indicator, no noise that my mouse disconnected. Is the only reason that I would figure that out is when I'm playing and I try to swipe right to make my character look right, my character wouldn't go that way. If I just did this to see if my mouse was connected and it wasn't. So I would have to tab out, open the software, tab back in, then to see if my mouse was working, then it would work. Which was quite dumb. I don't understand why. I do have everything up to date. I do have the newest software, and I do believe that's probably the only software update they've ever had. I don't even think they've updated their software in a very long time. So there is an issue with that. That is my only issue with it. Besides that, like everything worked really well. It was super responsive. Like the 4K on it was really good. I did use 4K only on this mouse for a week straight, and I had no issues just besides the random disconnecting. And the random disconnecting only happened to me 3 times. That's it. Only 3 different times. Besides that, it didn't happen again. So I don't know what happened in those 3 times. But with the 4K performance on this, I did use it with a week straight on 4K. And when I tell you I did not charge it at all, I didn't charge it at all. I put this mouse in the box and it was at 72%. I charged it 1 time and is when I received the mouse. So this is the longest 4K mouse that I've ever used. Yeah, it's probably because it has an 800 milliamp battery. That's a really big battery. But for me to be using this mouse on 4K for 8 hours in the game sesh for a whole week straight, and for me not to charge it at all is really good. Especially in my last review with the Thorn, if I did want to game with that mouse on 4K for a good 6 to 8 hours, I would have to charge that mouse at the end of the day because the battery life will die super fast. And this one hasn't died at all. And I gamed on it for an entire week with 4K and it still hasn't died. I put it in the box and the battery life was at 60%. I could probably go for another week, 4K only, and I wouldn't need to charge it. So that's one really good thing about this mouse. Yeah, it's probably because of 8,000 milliamp battery. Kind of obvious already, but still, that's really good in my opinion. So now let's get into some quick comparisons with this mouse. I do have 2 other options here for the mouse. I do have the Starlight 12 and the Superlight 2. I will have side-by-side footage of all these mouses with each other on screen now for you guys. But first up, let's talk about the Starlight 12 and the Darmar. The Starlight 12 and the Darmar are almost identical in size, but the Darmar does beat out the Starlight just by size a little bit. It is a bit longer than the Starlight, and yes, it is way heavier more than the Starlight. I could have also compared the AIR58 instead of the Starlight, but I do not have an AIR58 to compare. So my best other option was the Starlight. And the other one is the Superlight 2. The Superlight 2 is almost truly identical to this mouse, but the only difference in this mouse, the 2 differences in this mouse are the Darmar has the pointy click edges on the top, and the Superlight does come in at 60 grams and the Darmar does come in at 65 grams. Those are the only 2 differences between the Darmar and the Superlight 2. So they're almost identical in every other way besides those 2, especially the way they feel in hand. And so there's not much to critique compared to the Darmar and the Superlight 2. They feel very the same way in hand and they perform super well. So there's not really much to critique. Like I said, best 2 mouses that I can compare for this mouse that I have in my collection. So that's really all in the comparisons for this. So now we're at the end of the review. Some of you may be asking, does this mouse get the Ichigo certification? I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. No, it doesn't, because I did have some issues with it. And at the end of the day, this is a budget mouse. So there is other better options out there. So I wouldn't give it the Ichigo certification. But if you are on a budget and you do want somewhat of a reliable mouse, I would go for this. So besides that, that is it for today's review. So if you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like and leave a comment down below. If you didn't like this video, make sure to leave a dislike and tell me why you didn't like it in the comments. Make sure to follow me on all my social medias in the description below. I will also have affiliate links for this mouse in the description below. Make sure to subscribe as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.